What is up, all my hope healers and hope dealers? Welcome to my YouTube channel, my PhD, my prison history diploma. I did 10 years and 8 months in Florida Department of Corrections, and I've been out for over 17 years now. Wow, how time has flown. I know I haven't made a video in a while. I've been adjusting to a new country, new home, new friends. I mean, just everything so brand new career. And I just haven't had time to put in a new YouTube video. So now's the time. I'm adjusted. Everything's flowing so well. And I've had a lot that's gone on behind the scenes. But the dust has settled and, here I am. And I am super grateful to be here. I know I've been missing making these videos, and I hope the people that have found me, they thought about me every once in a while, where's Kim at? But I wanted to make a video today about the #1 best female prison where I did time at, where I worked so hard to get to and stay at. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So the #1 prison that I liked doing time at, and I know that sounds crazy to y'all, like doing time, but I can tell you that prison had its good times. It wasn't always bad. It wasn't always boo-hoo-hoo. There was a lot of friends that I made. I had good times there, y'all, but the best place that I did time at was a place called Broward Correctional Institution. It's no longer open. I looked it up the other day. It's completely closed down. It's not housing any inmates whatsoever, but I'm gonna tell y'all why this was my top pick of female institutions. #1, it had doors that you could close. So it was 2 to a room, and you were able to close your door. It was locked from the outside, so another inmate couldn't get into your room. The officers had a key, and of course it was bunk beds. It had a sink in there, so you could brush your teeth in there, do a little bit of laundry in your sink. There wasn't a restroom in there. The restroom was out the hallway. It was a 2-tiered prison, so you had upstairs, downstairs, on one side of the dorm, and then the other side of the dorm, upstairs, downstairs again. The officer station was in the middle of the entryway when you walk in to the dorms, and then here's the officer station, side A side, B side. There was about, I don't know, maybe 100 to each side, 200 to each side. I can't really remember how many people. I know, it's hard to do the numbers. But anyway, you can look up Broward Correctional Institution. So it had 2 to a room. The second best thing that I loved, and this was very important in Florida, was for the first time, I was in a prison that had air conditioning. Yes, air conditioning while I slept. It was the most amazing thing to have. I'll tell you, when I first arrived to Broward Correctional Institution and I knew that there was air conditioning in the dorms, I was like, yes, please, let me go to my dorm right now and take a nap, because I had not had air conditioning in like 7 years. So that was a big deal for me. The third thing that I loved about that prison, as far as when I was incarcerated, not that I love it now, but back then during incarceration, was the fact that it had a lake. It had a lake in the prison. There were 3 girls that worked at the lake because it was actually a catfish farm. So the lake had catfish in it. They fed the catfish. They took care of the catfish. We couldn't really go near it or go play in it. But we went to it. We went to it, not legally, I guess you would say. If we got caught near the lake, we definitely would be sent to solitary confinement. But the good news is that it did have a lake, and that was a big deal for me. Any type of air conditioning with a lake, sign me up back then, right? Especially when you're incarcerated. There was a lot of places to duck off at behind the dorms. So there was a lot of places to hide out at, to smoke your weed. That's exactly what I did. I ducked off everywhere. I smoked weed on every place in that prison. And then the other interesting thing was that it had death row. Death row was, let's see, Eileen Wuornos was on death row, a girl named the Lollipop Killer, and this other chick, Andrea, who did come off death row while I was incarcerated. I think there was 3 total. The most interesting one was obviously Eileen Wuornos. As a matter of fact, I delivered cleaning products to death row because I was so curious what death row looked like. And it was interesting to go to death row. You know, you had to go through, let's see, one door with a speaker, then you go into the vestibule, you get another speaker, you get let in, and then there was another gate, there was an officer station, and then there was another gate to get to the death row inmates. I never got to the part where the inmates were being held, but I did get to see what death row looked like. Obviously, it had a very sad, depressing vibe. I think they could only go out like once a day, and when they did have to go to like medical or something like that, the compound was completely shut down, and they escorted them to medical. This prison, I promise you, it felt like it had the absolute most freedom back then. We were able to run around. The guards were cool as shit. I'm not even gonna bullshit y'all. The guards were cool. They were definitely in on the hustle. 1,000,000%. We're talking Miami area, so it was all about the money, all about the Benjamins, baby. If you had money to pay off a cop, you were gonna be able to get the goods, or if you had a lucrative setup where a cop could get paid, you were gonna get your shit in. Let's just call a spade a spade. So that was the other thing that I liked about the place. Now, I will tell you that the inmates ran the shit. The inmates ran the prison. I always knew when I was gonna get urine analysis, UA'd. I always had friends that talked to the guards. The guards would tell them, they would tell me, and I was always prepared. I think I went to solitary confinement like a total of 3 times during my incarceration for a dirty urine. I never got caught with weed on me, even though I always had it on me. It was in the most safest place ever. And I'll let you all use your imagination on that. But I never went without weed. Once I figured it out that was the best way to do time, I kept weed on me all the time. It was the most easiest prison to smoke weed at. The property officer was cool as shit. I remember getting a really good Walkman sit-in at that prison that he allowed me to have. Those are the kind of things, the kind of perks that I got by doing time at this prison in Miami. It was a good prison as far as prisons are concerned, which is why it surprised me that it was shut down. You know, I'll tell y'all, when I was leaving my incarceration and they told me they were gonna leave the lights on for me, I think about that all the time, and I think about where my life's at today. They told me I would never get a passport. Not only do I have a passport, but I'm a resident in another country. They told me that I would never be a homeowner. Not only am I a homeowner, but I'm just a couple grand away from my house being paid off. Let that sink in. You know, I didn't get a start in life until I was 30, and now it is many years later, and my house is almost paid off. This is such a big thing for me, and I'm telling y'all, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And really, that's what this video is about. It's about, yeah, I mean, like, Broward Correctional Institution, did some time there. It was a lovely prison as far as prisons are concerned, but really the main point and main focus of this video is a girl like me who did 10 years and 8 months living the life that I get to live is not by accident. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of believing in myself and not believing what the cops told me. It took a lot of discipline and it took a lot of action steps. But here's the thing. I accomplished the goals one small bite at a time. And the purpose of this video is actually to wake people up, and those that think, oh, I can't do it because this happened to me or this happened to me. That's not the truth. Your brain is lying to you. Number one, we can do and be anything that we want to be. I am the living proof. There is no way that I was going to make these YouTube videos without accomplishing goals. And the whole point of me accomplishing these goals is so I can show people that it can be done. So, you know, hope healers, hope dealers, it's not just about me, it's about everybody else out there, right? Somebody right now that's hurting, that thinks that they fucked up in life, you didn't. You can correct. Think about it. You know, when we're driving down the road and we've got our Google map going, or